This one na one of the best video wey I don come across since wey we enter this year. You know why? Na the way dis journalist dem take ask dis man some questions about dis Nnamdi Kanu matter, and dis man make a lot of points for inside dis video. Lis ten to the end so dat you go understand everything wey dey go on for inside dis background here, because a lot of Nigerians no dey react to dis particular video because of wetin dis man just tell Nnamdi Kanu for im own face. Make una hear the way dis man take react to dis man say Nnamdi Kanu matter, and make una spread dis video, make una share the video so that more Nigerians will still be updated. See guys, just enjoy the video and
television. The Department of State Services (DSS) have denied claims that it has kept Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB) in solitary confinement while in its custody since 2021. During a court session on Wednesday, a DSS operative, PWBBB, testified that solitary confinement is not a practice of the DSS. This came after Kanu's legal team, led by Chief Kanu Agabi, raised concerns about his prolonged detention and conditions. Agabi further questioned the legality of Kanu's detention, calling it cruel and inhuman treatment, and also raised issues regarding the charges against Kanu and the credibility of evidence presented by the prosecution, including video footage of Kanu's interrogation. The court admitted medical and police reports related to the death of former presidential aide Ahmed Gulak, allegedly linked to Kanu's orders during a broadcast. The case was adjourned to May 21, 2025, after further delays over documents requested by the defense. Joining us in the studio today to help make sense of today's topic is Mr. Dele Fanibo, a seasoned journalist and a social and political critic.
A reporter.
Oh, a reporter still, a journalist. Then from our Abuja studios, we have Barrister Sam Kagbo, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, standing by. I will have Barrister Arochukwu Bunna. He's a political analyst, human rights lawyer, and head of Department of Human Rights and Political Education of Social Development Center. Good morning, gentlemen.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Good to have you join today's conversation. Good morning, Barrister Arochukwu Bunna. If you can hear me, we would like you to unmute your device for us to establish communication with you this morning. All right, Mr. Dele Fanibo, good to have you once again. And we're looking at the trials of Nnamdi Kanu. I guess it was yesterday where we learned that you know, the certificate of the death certificate of Gulak was also admitted in the court by motor show. And not just that, what can you just help us at this point in time, you know, make it very easy and known to the public listening to us what solitary confinement is all about? Because now DSS is saying we do not keep Nnamdi Kanu in solitary confinement, we don't practice search, but we have his legal team also raising that as a concern and also in motion in the court.
Well, I've never been kept in one before, but I have an idea of what solitary confinement is.
Okay.
You see, those who are held in detention and are considered to be dangerous to other inmates are usually kept in a room solely for that suspect, so that there won't be any interaction with other suspects that are kept in common room, so that they won't, you know, we have had cases in the past that have been reported that some criminals, hardened criminals, will kill their fellow suspects in custody. And so once they notice that you are likely to be too dangerous to be kept among other suspects, so they take you out and keep you in a cell where you are going to be alone. So that, and they also make sure that all precautions are kept to ensure that you don't even harm yourself. In some cases, they don't even allow objects around you.
Okay, now your analysis makes it seem like it's for the benefit of the man himself, but we also know that being in solitary confinement sometimes could be staying within a very, you know, small space, dark, which can mess up the psychology of the individual. That's also part
Well, you
of being
see-
in solitary confinement.
You see, one other thing that you also have to know is that keeping somebody in a cell alone is psychological trauma. Well, as we are seated here now, we can sit here, talk, discuss for the next 10 hours. We will not get exhausted. The only thing that we will remember is we have not eaten. But the moment somebody steps into this place and says, you are under arrest, your adrenaline will shut up. You know, I will shoot up, and you begin to imagine if I could break this wall, I could escape through this
Imagination
place.
starts
You know,
to run.
you don't start running riot. But that is the conventional cell. Now imagine when you are kept in a solitary confinement, where you don't have anybody to converse with, where you don't have anybody to even look at, where you don't have anybody you can even feel. You know, you are all by yourself, alone, and not just for one day, for a long period.
Now, DSS is denying this, but we also have learned also from Kanu's counsel that multiple times they've gone to visit him in the cell or where he was being kept in detention, and they are not being allowed access to him. Now, what justification do you have to come up to say, no, we don't practice such in Nigeria and all that, given the fact that they've restricted people from seeing him?
It's the DSS words against the suspect in this case. Now it's no longer a suspect, it's now an accused person because the case is in court. Now, the fact that they didn't allow his counsel to see him in the cell, there is no way they would open the cell for the counsel to see him. They would rather bring him out from the cell and probably get an office that is conducive enough for him to have conversation with his lawyers. So we cannot sit here and say for sure that they kept him in solitary confinement or not. But Kanu has not even said that. It is still the counsel that is saying it. But the thing is, I know that it is a practice. If you go to even some of our prison facilities, which they call correctional center now, they also have such places where they keep people where they know that they are likely to be a threat to other suspects in the common cell.
Now, I want to come on the path of the death certificate that was presented in court. Interestingly, the court has admitted Goodluck's death certificate right now as an evidence against Nnamdi Kanu. My question now would be, what do you think this would mean to the integrity of the legal process of this particular case? And of course, do you think that it's going to set a very dangerous precedent for a court of that jurisdiction to admit a death certificate of someone who has died into a case that has been ongoing for the longest of time?
You see, I'm not a lawyer, and at the risk of violating court rules, which presupposes that whatever we say out of a court in an ongoing trial is sub judice.
Yeah.
But I want to say that we have had such cases in the past. Saruwa was not present when they killed some Ogoni leaders. But because Saruwa was alleged to have instigated that attack, it was one of the evidences used against him in court during his trial. So, as flimsy as it looks, it is the responsibility of the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu to ensure that that evidence is shut down. It's not just, it's a potent evidence in court. I've seen precedents like that.
All right, now let's x-ray this. When this happened in 2021, it happened on May 30th, which is Biafra Heroes Day. And I'm sure you remember, you know, the things that happened, because Goodluck was said to be going to the airport after an official assignment, and then the driver took, you know, the wrong turn, took a wrong route. Now he was going without an escort. I mean, just to put this out there for the benefit of of the viewers, he took a wrong turn, and then he was waylaid and killed. Now, IPOB at the time, Imam Powerful, on behalf of IPOB, denied any involvement in all of this. The security architecture blamed this on unknown gunmen. And we also know that a few killings also happened in 2021 involving these unknown gunmen. One of them would be the death of Chike Akoili. I think that's his name. Dora Akoili's husband, who was shot, point blank. Even though they said it was a mistaken identity for that one. But there were lots of, attacks like of such in the southeast at that time. Now, what is the implication of pointing this or putting this on the feet of Nnamdi Kanu? What is the implication of this for his trial?
You see, like I said earlier, that a trial of this nature is a delicate one, I must confess to you. And the law does not recognize sentiments. Sentiments can be in the public domain, but in the courtroom, it's hard evidence that will be used to determine the outcome of a case. You see, most of these issues, it is the responsibility of the state to present evidence. And it's also the responsibility of the legal team of
now in as much as
accused to ensure that those evidence put up against their clients does not avail conviction. And so it's still a legal battle, and there's little somebody like me that I'm not learned.
Oh no. We are not looking at it from the legal perspective, and of course we will not want to.
There's no way we want to look at it from legal perspective. Because the issue here is that somebody's life is at stake.
Indeed.
And I've always had this emotional sentiments to Kanu, because I look at it beyond the trial. I look at it from the prism of the fact that he has been denied so many things. Access to his children, access to his wife.
Let's x-ray a few things now. Kanu made some statements from his base at the time. Would you say those statements were enough to incite violence? Because what it seems like now is the violence that has been perpetrated in the southeast is being blamed on Kanu. Do you think those statements of, some statements that he made, I can't really quote them now, were enough, considering the fact that some other Nigerians have made similar statements calling for uprising? And, would we say that also...
funny thing about the law is that 200 people may commit a similar crime. If they are not caught, it doesn't mean that law does not exist.
But the part that some Boko Haram were de-radicalized after being caught is another conversation we're not having, Mr. Fanimo. Do you think that this isn't one selective judgment, as it were? Because this overall is practically what it's turned out to be, according to some quarters. Because some separatist group as well have voiced their displeasure about the ongoing situation of the country. So if we can de-radicalize some Boko Haram members who were caught, what is the issue with the Nnamdi Kanu situation?
We had the Niger Delta guys that held this country by the jugular, and eventually they were given reprieve through amnesty.
Right.
Some of them are pilots now. Some of them are accountants. Some of them are sea welders and all that. And we also have some other groups that have been. Look at OPC. There was a time OPC was also angling for the soul of the state, and Gani Adams and the rest were caught. You see, there is a portion in the Bible in Matthew, I think Matthew 15, maybe chapter 20, verse 26 or so. I say, if your traducer arrests you, settle with him before he takes you to court, because you may land in jail.
No, that's
You understand why I'm saying this is that honestly, if you ask me, I would have thought that this case shouldn't even proceed to conclusion to the extent that if there is conviction, either way, if Kanu is convicted, it's not a win-win situation. If it's tried and acquitted, it brings emotional sentiment that, okay, when you knew that this guy had no case to answer, why did you keep him all this while?
Interesting.
Right.
You understand? So it's not a win-win situation. And so for me, beyond this court trial that is almost turning into a drama, endless one-season film, isn't it better for us to find political solution to this and let's get out of this and then move on? Because we can't continue to have things that would divide us more when we are supposed to be united as a nation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this case is one of these things that could divide us, because you can win a war, you may not win the battle. You can also win the battle, you may not win the war.
Interestingly, indeed.
That's my route, and it has always been my route.
And if you check it out, also some Nigerians are beginning to also say what you're saying now, given the fact that Kanu made a statement in broadcast, like some person said. But we have some Nigerians who are still in Nigeria who said they'll make governorship ungovernable for the then president of Nigeria, and they did that. We saw that come into fruition and all that. But yet, no one is being arrested. Now, let's bring in Barrister Arachukwu join the conversation. Good morning, Barrister Arachukwu. Barrister, I would like you to unmute your device if you can hear us.
No. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Good to have you join today's conversation.
Yeah, good morning, madam. How are you?
I'm good, and thank you for joining us. Now, we are extrailing the trials of Nnamdi Kanu, and also the fact that the death certificate of Golak was also admitted in the court as an evidence against him. Now, the question is this. Yesterday, during the trial, Agabiru happens to be Kanu's counsel, also raised a concern in the court that he also requested a particular information from the Nigerian police, and for them also to be able to push on with their cross-examination and all that during the court's trial and the proceeding. But that particular motion was stepped down on the note that the case, according to what Awomolo, who also is a senior advocate, stated, was asked to be tried speedily. Now, are we going to see a situation whereby the speedy nature of this trial will now make the Nigerian courts not to look inwardly to admit evidences on the necessary documents that counsels are requesting for this case to be tried judiciously?
First and foremost, any court or tribunal that works its name will meticulously and religiously follow up the procedures of law, exhaust it in order to arrive at a reasonable conclusion. So even if there is to carry out speedy trials, it doesn't foreclose the court, or it doesn't prevent the court from ensuring that the procedures are exhausted. Because if you don't, we are creating a loophole for people to challenge their judgment on appeal. The judgment must be credible, and for it to be, all material evidences must be before the court.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for watching that video. So guys, before you leave, look at the top here, do well to subscribe and also put on notification bell so that whenever we upload any video in this great platform, you will be the first to see it. And please don't forget to share this video and also spread the video, and also give this video a big thumbs up. The more you share this video, the more other people will still come across this video, and the more you share the video, the more other people will still be updated. And this is where I'm going to end the video, and I will see you guys some more time.